প্রহিবিশন অ্যান্ড রেগুলেশন অ্যাক্ট 1986, এরকম অনেক আছে। এইগুলো দিয়ে তোমাদের ঘিরে রাখা হয় যাতে তোমাদের কোনো বিপদে পড়তে না হয়, তোমাদের মধ্যে কোনো অসুবিধে না হয়, সমস্যার মধ্যে যাতে না পায়। বাই রিডিং দি প্রভিশন অফ দিস অ্যাক্টস, I find that these acts have not only created the rights of the children, but it also directed the others to respect the rights of the children. তো যাই হোক, এখন তোমাদের অনেক রাইটস আছে, তোমরা কি সেগুলো জানো? তোমাদের বাবা মায়ের জানানো উচিত। তোমরা অনেকে যে রাইটসগুলো আছে ছোট করে যদি বলি, তোমরা কি শুনতে চাও আমার কাছ থেকে? শুনতে চাইছো? আচ্ছা, দেখি আমি এনেছি কিনা তোমাদের জন্য। দি কনভেনশন অন দি রাইটস অফ দি চাইল্ড কন্টেন্স 54 আর্টিকেলস। এতগুলো আর্টিকেলস আমি পড়ছি না, তোমাদের এই কনভেনশনের কয়েকটা আর্টিকেলস আমি পড়ে শোনাচ্ছি, তোমরা দেখো তোমাদের কি কি রাইটস আছে। এবং শুধু তোমাদের জানলে হবে না, তোমাদের পেরেন্টসদের জানতে হবে, টিচার্সদের জানতে হবে। তো এই আর্টিকেল, এই কনভেনশনটা ভারত সরকার র্যাটিফাই করেছে 1992 সালে, 1992। তো আমি কয়েকটা মাত্র রাইটস তোমাদের পড়ে শোনাই। আর্টিকেল 42 কি বলছে জানো? ইউ হ্যাভ দি রাইট টু ইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড নলেজ অ্যাবাউট ইউর রাইটস। Parents and other adults should know about the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Article 2 বলছে কি? All children have the same rights and should not be discriminated against. Nobody should treat you badly because of your appearance, your skin color, your gender, your language, your religion or your opinions. Article 3, please শোনো, when adults make decisions affecting children, they must think about what is in the best interests of the child. Politicians, authorities, and the courts must consider how their decisions affect children, whether it is one child or many. Article 12 থেকে 15 বলছে, you have the right to say what you think. Your opinions should be respected in all matters concerning you, at home, at school, and by the authorities and the courts. Article 18, your parents are jointly responsible for your upbringing and development. They must always put your interest first. Article 19, you have the right to protection from all forms of violence, neglect, abuse, and mistreatment. You should not be exploited by your parents or other guardians. Article 13, all children have the right to a good life. If you have a disability, you have the right to extra support and help. Article 24, when you are sick, you have the right to receive all the help and care you need. You have the right to go to school and to learn about important things. Article 30 is very important for you. The thoughts and beliefs of every child should be respected. If you belong to a minority, you have the right to your own language, your own culture, and your own religion. Article 31, you have the right to play, rest, and free time, and the right to live in a healthy environment. Article 32, you should not be forced to do hazardous work that prevents your schooling and damages your health. Article 34, no one should subject you to abuse or force you into commercial sexual exploitation. If you are treated badly, you are entitled to protection and help. No one should punish you in a cruel and harmful way. So these are the rights you have. কিন্তু যারা আইন জানে, অনেক আইন জেনে গেলে, তোমরা অনেক অধিকার জেনে গেলে, কারুর সঙ্গে যখন কথা বলবে নিজের আইনের অধিকার নিয়ে, তখন একটু ঠান্ডা মাথায় বলবে। তাহলে কি হবে, রেগে গেলে কিন্তু পরের পয়েন্টটা তুমি ভুলে যাবে। যখন আইন জানা লোককে দেখবে যুক্তি দিয়ে ঠিক ঠিক বলে। এই আইনগুলো নিয়ে তোমাদের জানানো হলো, তোমাদের যা প্রশ্ন আছে তোমরা করবে। যদি প্রশ্নের উত্তর পেয়ে গিয়ে থাকো তাহলে আর পরের জনকে সুযোগ করে দিও। তোমরা সবাই ভালো থেকো, ঈশ্বর তোমাদের মঙ্গল করুক।
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us. Your thoughts have not only inspired us, but also given our students valuable lessons to carry forward in their lives. May we now request our honorable dignitaries to come up on the dais and take their seats so that we may begin this special session of dialogue and learning. We are truly honored to have your guidance in this exchange of ideas. Can we hear it louder for our respected dignitaries as they come forward?
The floor is now open for discussion. We request each student, before asking the question, to kindly introduce themselves by stating their name and the name of their school. So let us begin with the first question.
A very good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries present here. I am Alokananda Mukherjee from India International School. So as sir has already mentioned, children are supremely important national asset of our country. But in this era of cyber threats and cyberbullying, my question today is, do you think Indian laws are strong enough to protect children in this virtual space?
Laws are there, certainly, but implementation is required to be strictly done. That is my answer to your question.
Thank you, sir, for your guidance.
Thank you, sir. Now let's move to the second school.
Good afternoon to all of you that are present here for the seminar. I am Pranav Soren from St. Francis Xavier School. So today, my question for you is that how has the Supreme Court of India expanded the scope of environmental rights, or in what ways it is trying to do so?
Hi. So, see, we have a specific article under the Indian Constitution, Article 21, which can be interpreted in various manners, okay? So, while this interpretation was not in the limelight initially, I think after the Stockholm Conference specifically, the Supreme Court has taken a very proactive action in further interpretation of this article, especially under the light of right to environment. Yes?
Here. No, would you continue?
Oh, yes, yes.
Would you continue?
No, that is my answer, sir.
The more significant expansive interpretation that has come about is the principle polluter pays. If you cause pollution, you pay for it. This is a principle that was foreign to our law. Now, because of the Supreme Court, it has become an embedded principle in our jurisprudence. And you might say this started with the Bhopal gas tragedy case. That is, I would say, a turning point in Indian environmental law. Previously, all injuries, environmental as well as physical injuries attributable to the negligence of others were made part of the tort law. Tort is civil liability arising from breach of rights, which you have. But with Bhopal, the focus shifted from individual tortious liability to group liability, corporate liability, and unspecified, or I would say liability of a corporation in the abstruse sense, where in fact this involves a bit of a complicated legal theory which you will not understand at the moment. But the point is, yes, Supreme Court has helped in expanding in the environmental pollution liability, and the cornerstone of this liability is the principle polluter pays.
Thank you for your response.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Can we move ahead to the next question?
Good afternoon, dignitaries. I am Rishit Roy Chaudhary from AG Church, Sodhpur. Dignitaries, today I would like to shout your guidance on the matter that in terms of settlement of minor disputes, which should be the first choice of a person who comes from a marginalized background, Nyay Panchayats or Lok Adalats?
See, Lok Adalats are an institutionalized system of alternative dispute redressal. But I would say for minor disputes which can be settled at the village level without political intervention, there is no harm in approaching them. There is no harm in approaching them. But of course, again, that settlement has to come about voluntarily, and there should not be coercion, there should not be political muscle flexing.
Thanks for your guidance, sir.
I wish you all a very warm afternoon. As we all know that bullying in schools, whether physical, verbal or through digital platforms, is a growing concern that often leaves students emotionally scared, fearful, or even forces them sometimes to abandon their education. The long-term psychological impact can be more devastating, affecting not only their educational growth, but also their confidence and future. So from both a legal and a social standpoint, what measures should be taken by the educational institutions, parents and judiciary to combat bullying effectively, ensuring that a children's mental and emotional well-being is fully protected?
Thank you for your question. It's a very important question. So recently, the Supreme Court has actually laid down guidelines relating to students' mental health. And some of these guidelines include all educational institutions having 100 or more enrolled students to appoint at least one qualified counselor, psychologist or social worker. Also ensuring there is optimal student to counselor ratios, and to ensure that there is robust and accessible mechanisms for reporting instances of bullying, and also to protect whistleblowers or complainants in this case, so there is no retaliation against people who have faced bullying, children who have faced bullying, so that there is no repercussion. Otherwise, as you said, some students might not want to come back to school after facing such unwanted incidents from happening.
Is that I want to say that as per circular of 26/9/2019, the schools are directed to form a safety and security committee within the campus of the school, and you can file your complaint there, or otherwise I can request the school authority to place a complaint box so that any child can file their complaint through this complaint box. That will be acceptable to all, I think. And it is the duty of the school authorities to comply with the provisions of law. Okay.
And may I add in this regard, there are criminal laws which can take care of bullying. But since we are talking about school children, you will have to take into account the Juvenile Justice Act, and institutional or institutionalized criminal law or user of criminal law is not actually recommended in cases of bullying in schools. So the better option would be to generate awareness, and the school should insist upon internal discipline. That is up to the school. They have a free hand in that. But we should keep away the criminal law from the children.
Thank you for your valuable insights, sir.
A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries. I am Tiaz Das, coming from Asansol Old Station High School. We all know that offense is an act for which one can be punished strictly. But here is some offense for which it is not taken so strictly for punishing. So my question is, what is the difference between offense and punishable offense?
No, see, all offenses can be made punishable. The legislature of the country or the legislature of the state has the power to make every act or omission an offense and prescribe a punishment for it. But then again, there is a principle in criminal law which says de minimis non curat lex. The law is not concerned about trifles. So an omission which is not important in itself, an omission which does not harm you, you should not make it punishable, you should not make it an offense. Because criminal offenses are far more serious than civil consequences. Once you brand a person as a criminal, there is a social stigma attached to it. His name is blackened and people look at him with oblique glances. So criminalization, making an act criminal or prescribing a punishment for it are drastic steps which you should or the legislature should keep reserved for genuinely serious infractions of the law, be it natural law or penal law, whatever. But for trivial things, it's always better, it's advisable to keep offense and punishment away. But that again, obviously, at the ultimate analysis, it depends upon the wisdom of the legislature that frames the law.
Thank you, sir.
নমস্কার মাননীয় গণ্যমান্য মহাশয়, আপনার কাছে আমি দীপ চক্রবর্তী, আসানসোল চেরিডাঙ্গা হাই স্কুলে অ্যাজ প্রবাবলি আমরা আমাদের স্কুলকে উপেন্দ্রনাথ স্কুল বলে জানি, তো সেই স্কুলের ছাত্র আমি। আপনার কাছে আমার প্রশ্ন হলো, আমরা আইন না জেনে নানা রকম ভুল করে ফেলি, এবং যদি সেই ভুলটি একটু বড় রকমভাবে হয়ে থাকে, তো সেক্ষেত্রে আমরা কিভাবে আইনে জাতাকল থেকে বাঁচতে পারি?
না, এটা কি আপনি স্কুলের বাচ্চার কথা বলছেন না বড়দের কথা বলছেন?
সব ক্ষেত্রে আমি বলতে চাইছি।
দেখুন, স্কুলের বাচ্চাদের ক্ষেত্রে যদি 7 বছরের নিচে বয়স হয় তাহলে তার কোনো অফেন্স হয় না। 7 থেকে 12 যদি হয় তাহলে তার ক্ষেত্রে তখনই অফেন্স হবে যে সে যদি বুঝতে পারে যে কাজটা করছে তার নেচারটা কী আর তার কনসিকোয়েন্সটা কী। 12 থেকে 18 অফেন্স হবে, অথবা 7 থেকে 12 হতে পারে, কিন্তু তার জন্য এখন জুভেনাইল জাস্টিস অ্যাক্ট আছে, যেটা আমাদের পুরনো চিন্তা ক্রিমিনাল লর যে কনসেপ্ট ছিল তার থেকে পুরো আলাদা। 18 বছরের নিচে বাচ্চাদের হিনাস অফেন্স ছাড়া বা খুব স্পেসিফিক কিছু কেস ছাড়া সেইভাবে সাজার কোনো বিধান নেই। আমাদের সাজা কনসেপ্টটা বাচ্চাদের ক্ষেত্রে উঠেই গেছে। কিন্তু যদি আপনি বড়দের কথা বলেন তাহলে কিন্তু ইগনোরেন্স অফ ল ইজ নো এক্সকিউজ। আমি জানি না বলে আমার অপরাধ হচ্ছে না বা আমি অপরাধ করিনি, এইটা কিন্তু বড়দের ক্ষেত্রে খাটবে না। এটা একটু মাথায় রাখতে হবে।
ধন্যবাদ স্যার আপনার গুরুত্বপূর্ণ সময় দেওয়ার জন্য।
A very good afternoon to the respected dignitaries present here and to everyone present in this hall. I am Ritvik Raj from class 10, proudly representing Calcutta Boys School. So my question to the panel is, given that there has been so much rise in gender-based violence and discrimination, what can we do as students in schools and universities to legally report these inequalities so that immediate actions can be taken against them?
First, create awareness. And talking about legal reporting, criminal law can be set in motion by anybody. If you see a crime taking place before your eyes, you are competent to lodge a complaint with the police, and there's no law which stops you in this regard. There is no law which stops you in this regard. Because in civil matters, if it's not a crime, we have certain concepts of locus standi, which does not apply to criminal law. Whenever you see a crime, any crime, gender-based crime, sexual offenses, whatever, anything which the law has prescribed at the pain of punishment, you are entitled to set the law in motion. But again, there are consequences. You will have to be a witness, things like that. But there is no harm, there is no hurdle in your way. You can set the law in motion.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good afternoon, dignitaries. I am Tanishtha Sarkar from DAV Public School, Kanyapur, Asansol. First, I would like to thank you all for giving us this opportunity. I would like to ask that we all know that our Indian judiciary tells that everyone is equal before the law. But in practice, do the underprivileged and poor get the same justice as compared to the rich and influential? Or do the social and financial barriers limit their access to justice?
See, this is not exactly a legal question. It is, I would say that the legal proposition is absolutely true. Everyone is supposed to be equal before the laws. You know, the difference comes when access to law is made dependent upon your capability to gain legal assistance. That is where legal aid comes in. That is where I am from the SALSA, State Legal Services Authority. He is the Registrar of State Legal Services Authority. We provide free legal aid. Why do we provide free legal aid? To enable the marginalized litigant, the indigent litigant, to give him or her a level playing field. Because it is absolutely a correct perception on your part that unless and until you have the adequate means, the financial resources, getting access to legal remedies might prove difficult. So that is where we come in, and it is for the information of you all. Children are entitled to free legal aid, irrespective of whether they earn anything, irrespective of their parents' financial standing. So any of you, if you have any legal problems which you feel that you need to discuss with qualified legal practitioners, or even judges who are secretaries at the district level, or with us, you can always drop a line, you can call us, and we will provide you with free legal advice. It's absolutely free, and you will certain to get good advice. That is why we are here, that is why we exist. So please keep this in mind and share this information to everybody whom you meet. Children are entitled to free legal advice, so avail of the opportunity if you ever feel the need. There is a toll-free number, you see? It's where's the number? It's 15100. What is missing child? And if you look at the website of West Bengal State Legal Services Authority, you will get all our numbers there. So spread this message. Let there be awareness that free legal aid is available. And not only to children, but to anybody who satisfies the conditions laid down in Section 12 of the Legal Services Authorities Act. And the most important group, in addition to children, would be women. Women, irrespective of their monthly income, whether they earn rupee 1 or maybe rupees 1 crore, they are also entitled to free legal aid. So make use of this. Make use of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable answer.
Good morning, everyone. I am Navanita Vedas, a student of class 10 from Rosa Mystica School. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers for providing me with this opportunity to participate in this seminar and engage with the esteemed panel. So, sir, despite the awareness of sexual harassment and cases of POSCO, there are still some cases in school where students are harassed sexually or sexually assaulted. So what are the systematic failures that is causing this to happen?
See, the Honorable Justice Apurva Sinha had said this at the very beginning of the program. We have laws, but the gap comes in implementation, number one. And the second is you know, you have to inculcate in yourself the propensity to obey laws. Laws exist, but they are not self-manifesting. You know, they don't act by themselves. So unless and until there is strict implementation, number one, and number two, unless and until you are law abiding by nature, it's very difficult to cure social or social maladies or evils by just simply having laws. You have to have in yourself the propensity, the ability, the wish to abide by the law. And then again implementation, as the Honorable Justice said.
Have you reported this matter to your head of the institution?
Yes, can you please repeat?
Have you reported this matter that complaints of harassment is not being taken care of? Have you reported this matter to your head of the institution? If your head of the institution did not take any step, your head of the institution is liable. I think so. Because which I have already mentioned that this is the law. If any report is made to the head of the institution, they should take care of it. Okay?
Sir, actually, I am saying that in many schools it is happening, not in our school. Many schools, many places are there, no?
The problem crops up from that. The problem crops up from that.
Okay,
you know, we have laws, but then again, there is a gap between its existence and its implementation. That gap can be fulfilled by creating awareness and by imposing certain self-restrictions, I would say.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable suggestions and insightful answers. That's it.
नमस्कार माननीय महोदय, मेरा नाम राजवीर है। मैं संत जोसेफ स्कूल की तरफ से आया हूँ। मेरा आपसे यह प्रश्न है कि न्यायपालिका में आज के समय की सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियाँ क्या है और आप उसे कैसे हल करने की उम्मीद करते हैं? न्यायपालिका
अच्छा,
जजेस से
दिस इज
फ्रॉम द जजेस।
अब हिंदी में ही बताते हैं। अभी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है कोर्ट का जो हम लोग फेस करते हैं, जो हाई कोर्ट फेस करते हैं, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट्स फेस करते हैं, वो है एरियर का। बहुत सारा मामला पेंडिंग है, ये एक प्रॉब्लम है। और आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? आपका क्वेश्चन थोड़ा क्लियर होता तो अच्छा होता।
सर, मैं बोलना चाह रहा था कि न्यायपालिका में आज के समय की सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियाँ क्या है और आप इसे कैसे हल करने की उम्मीद करते हैं?
नहीं, देखिए, एक तो ये पेंडेंसी एरियर्स एक प्रॉब्लम है, और एज सच तो चुनौती है, आई वुड से है कुछ है नहीं, बिकॉज केसेस है एंड वी आर ऑल राइट फ्रॉम द सुप्रीम कोर्ट टिल द लोएस्ट रैंक्स इन द जुडिशरी, वी आर इक्विप्ड टू डील विद केसेस, वी आर trained to deal with cases. So we can't say we have problems. The only problem is numbers. The judge to population ratio in India is very inadequate. It's absolutely abysmal. So that is a problem that we face, that each and every one of us in the judiciary face. Other than that, there is no problem as such.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries and esteemed teachers and all my dear friends. I am Avinav Mukherjee from DAV Model School, KSTP Asansol. So my question to the respected dignitaries are, in several recent cases across India, morphed and obscene images of girl students have been circulated online. But trials under Section 67 of the IT Act and the POXO Act often take years. How can the courts ensure speedy justice for the student victims when delayed trials themselves became a form of secondary victimization?
See, cases under POXO Act come with a timeline. We are supposed to complete POXO cases within 60 days from the date fixed, first fixed for taking evidence. We fail to do this because of various factors, and the number one factor, again, I would say, is, as the Honorable Justice said, because of arrears. We have so many cases and so relatively inadequate number of judges that it becomes very difficult to stick to the timeline. But all of us, let me assure you, I can say this, all of us in this state at least, all the POXO judges, they try their best to stick to the timeline. Even maybe judges in the country as a whole. We always try to do our best, but there are certain factors which are not exactly in our hands, like investigation. Investigation is the domain of the police. Unless and until police complete the investigation part within a reasonable period of time, the case does not actually come before us. So first the investigation has to be completed. Then when trial commences, witnesses have to turn up, witnesses have to come and depose. Many a times the public prosecutor, who is in charge of the prosecution, he is the lawyer for the state, he seeks an adjournment because a witness does not turn up. So these are various factors which contribute and add to the delay. But we are trying, and there are many instances in West Bengal where POXO matters have been settled within 3-4 months, if not less.
Thank you so much, sir. Grateful for the information.
Good afternoon. All the dignitaries are here. I am Vasha Kumari from St. Mary Goretti Girls High School. My topic for today's discussion is mental health and the law. The question I wish to ask is, what is the law relating to mental health of the students?
See, there's firstly, when it comes to mental health, we should not say it's the students or adults or any other person per se. So we do have a legislation, the Mental Health Act 2017, which has specific provisions regarding what to do, how to deal with mental health related situations. And since you're asking about students, I think we have a coaching guideline, right? In relation to how the students from various coaching institutions of various cities across India shall be dealt with, so that they do not fall into the trap of depression and other diseases situations.
Thank you, ma'am, for your precious words.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Parmadrita Chaudhary from Srihari Global School, Asansol. Respected panel members, as we have came across many incidents where the college students have been harassed by the management and its rules, they exploiting their fundamental rights. So my question for you is that, in your view, how does the judiciary play a role in protecting or upholding the rights of the students, especially in terms of education, equality and safety within institutions?
See, are you talking about fundamental rights only?
Kind of.
See, fundamental rights, for the protection of fundamental rights, we have two principal articles in the Indian Constitution. One is Article 226 and the other is Article 32. If you complain, or if anybody complains of breach of his or her fundamental right, he or she has two options. One, you may directly approach the Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Constitution, and that itself is a fundamental right. Second is, I would say the easier option is to approach the Honorable High Court under Article 226. Whenever you feel your fundamental right has been abridged by the state. State would include a university, a college, but that is the remedy which you have, which we all have, and it is a very potent remedy. It is a very potent remedy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable answer.
Good afternoon, everyone present over here. My name is Harpal Singh Randhawa of Class 11 Commerce, City Montessori High Secondary School. So my question is that, can we file a case if we are sold a defective goods?
So what was your question, sir?
So my question was that, can we file a case if we are sold a defective goods?
Yes, you can. You can approach the consumer forum. Yes. You can approach the consumer forum, and if it's a deceptive good, I mean, if you can bring the case within the concept of cheating as defined in the Indian Penal Code, you can also file a criminal case. But your primary option or the primary way out would be to approach the consumer forum.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, respected judges, teachers and my fellow participants. I am Alia Shireen of Delhi Public School, Asansol. We often know that juvenile system is debated as an issue of poverty, but we have seen incidents that show that children from privileged families also are involved in serious crimes. For example, the Pune Porsche case which happened in 2023, where a 17-year-old boy from a wealthy family caused the death of innocent people, raising nationwide concerns. With this in mind, my question is, when juvenile from influential or well-off backgrounds commit such crimes, how can the justice system ensure accountability without letting money or privilege dilute the punishment?
No, you cannot distinguish between juveniles. That would be violating Article 14 of the Constitution. A juvenile, if he is from the marginalized section of the society, and a juvenile, say a son of a multi-billionaire, both are juveniles. You can't treat them differently. Because both, if they are juveniles, if they are under 18, will have to be treated in accordance with the Juvenile Justice Act. So it does not matter actually whether he is a he comes from a financially well-off family or he does not. If both of them are juvenile, both of them have to be treated equally. You know, it may hurt your sense of morality, it may hurt your sense of ethics, but that is how the law works. You can't differentiate between juveniles on the basis of their parents' income. At least the law has made no such differentiation. You cannot do it.
So if I could just add to that, if you don't mind. So I think adding on to what Sir just said, it's also a question of privilege, which is more like a socio-economic, cultural question, which is kind of the foundation upon which law works on. So law cannot correct for every aspect of society, of culture, and although law and legal institution and mechanisms are in place, it requires much more than just the existence of these mechanisms for justice to be realized.
Thank you, sir.
You see, law operates on a general level. You know, law, one of the most foremost characteristics of law is that it operates at a general level. It does not take into consideration specifics. So juvenile is a general class. You cannot again redefine or redistinguish between juveniles. That will not work out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
শুভ অপরাহ্ন মাননীয় বিচারক মাননীয় অতিথি মহাশয় ও মহাশয়দের। আমি সৃজা ঘোষ, মণিমালা উচ্চ বালিকা বিদ্যালয়ের ছাত্রী। আমি আজকে যে প্রশ্নটা করতে চাই সেটা হলো, আমরা দেখলাম যে পস্কো, জুভিনাইল জাস্টিস এবং বিভিন্ন কেসের বিভিন্ন অ্যাক্ট নিয়ে আমাদের কেসেস আছে, কিন্তু কেস তো এগোবে না যদি উইটনেসরা কোর্টে না আসে। তো কোর্ট কি উইটনেস প্রোটেকশন অ্যাক্ট আমরা জানি এক্সিস্ট করে, কিন্তু সবাই সেটা পায় না। তো আপনাদের কি মনে হয় যে সবারই দরকার উইটনেস প্রোটেকশন অ্যাক্টে, যাতে উইটনেসরা কোর্টে আসতে চায় এবং কেস এগোয়? এটাই আমার প্রশ্ন।
না, উইটনেস প্রোটেকশন স্কিম আমাদের আছে, পক্সোর জন্যও আছে, এবং যে কোনো ক্ষেত্রে আসলে এইটা হচ্ছে পুলিশের দায়িত্ব। এটা লেট ডাউন ল যে কোনো মামলায় যদি পক্সো নাও হয়, সাক্ষীকে কোর্টে আনবে ইনভেস্টিগেটিং অফিসার, এবং সাক্ষীকে প্রোটেকশন দেওয়ার দায়িত্বও তার। কিন্তু আমাদের আমি একটা বললাম, জাজ পপুলেশন রেশিও কম, আবার আমাদের পুলিশের সংখ্যাও খুব কম। ওই জন্য এই সাফিসিয়েন্ট সংখ্যক পুলিশ আমাদের নেই যে প্রত্যেকটা উইটনেসকে আমরা গার্ড করে নিয়ে আসবো এবং যতক্ষণ না ট্রায়াল শেষ হচ্ছে তাদের আমরা সেইভাবে সেফ রাখবো বা তাদের সেফ ফিল করাবো। এই একটা ফ্যাক্টর তো ডেফিনেটলি কাজ করে, যেখানে উইটনেসটা ভয় পায়। আবার অনেক ক্ষেত্রে উইটনেসটা বিভিন্ন অন্য কারণেও আসতে চায় না, যেগুলো আমাদের এখন মনে হয় সেটা আলোচনা করার মতো উপযুক্ত জায়গা এটা নয়। কিন্তু হ্যাঁ, সমস্যা তো আছেই এখানে কিছু।
Sir, could I just add on to that? আরেকটা জিনিসও জানা উচিত কি অনেক উইটনেস, I'll just switch to English, I'm sorry. A lot of witnesses and affected children, if they're rescued, for example, if there is a trafficking case and there are minor children utilized in commercial sexual exploitation, if there is a raid and such children are rescued, then they are often kept in care institutions, care homes e onaderke rakha hoy. Tahole jokhon mane it comes time for case hearing whatever, so tokhon the IO, the police essentially, they bring these children to wherever they have to be, and since they are in care institutions and in state institutional homes, it makes that process a little easier and hopefully আরেকটু to safe.
আপনাদের ধন্যবাদ, আপনাদের মূল্যবান মতামতের জন্য ধন্যবাদ।
Good afternoon, honorable dignitaries. My name is Taskin Saba. I belong to Asansol Rahmania High School. May I ask the question in Urdu?
Yes, go ahead. If we understand, we will answer.
मेरा सवाल SLST 2016 से है। कलकत्ता हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट दोनों ने SLST 2016 पैनल को कैंसिल कर दिया है और दोनों ऑनरेबल कोर्ट ने माना है कि इस कैंसिलेशन के पीछे इंस्टीट्यूशनल फ्रॉड है, लेकिन यहाँ सज़ा सिर्फ मासूम टीचर्स को दी गई। आज फिर वही इंस्टीट्यूशन एग्ज़ाम ले रहा है, सज़ा उसे क्यों नहीं दी गई? मेरा यही क्वेश्चन है।
This issue is sub judice and we cannot answer this, madam. Okay, this is a sub judice issue. So we are refrained from making any answer or any comment. Do you agree?
Okay, thank you.
Learned judges and to other dignitaries, I am Jagrukta, a student from Subhashpalli Vidyaniketan HS. My question to you is data protection law in India enough strong to Is data protection law in India enough strong to means of targeted advertising and spam calls?
Could you repeat the latter part of your question again? It wasn't audible.
Sorry, ma'am, I repeat. Is data protection law in India is enough strong to means of targeted advertising and spam calls?
লাস্টটা কি বলছেন? টার্গেটেড অ্যাডভার্টাইজিং অ্যান্ড
Advertising and spam calls.
ও স্প্যাম কলস। টার্গেটেড অ্যাডভার্টাইজিং মানে কি বোঝাতে চাইছেন আপনি?
মানে যে সমস্ত মানে কনজিউমার্সদের যে সমস্ত মানে ওই স্প্যাম কলস জনিত সমস্যাগুলো সৃষ্টি হচ্ছে।
না, স্প্যাম কলসের সঙ্গে তো এখন রাইট টু প্রাইভেসির একটা ইস্যু আছে। হ্যাঁ, সেটা তো রাইট টু প্রাইভেসি যখন সুপ্রিম কোর্ট বলে দিয়েছে যে আমরা প্রত্যেকেই এন্টাইটেল টু রাইট টু প্রাইভেসি, আপনি স্প্যাম কলস তো ওই জন্য ওই ডিএনডি করতে পারেন ফোনে, কিন্তু অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্টের ক্ষেত্রে না আমার পার্সোনালি মনে হয় ওটা একটা ফাইন ব্যালেন্স আছে। আপনি নাও দেখতে পারেন, সেটা আপনার ইচ্ছে। আর যে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করছে, যে অ্যাডভার্টাইজার, তারও কিন্তু একটা রাইট আছে আন্ডার আর্টিকেল 19(1)(g and even article 19(1)(a) to express his feelings, his opinions and to take steps for the effective practice of his profession or calling or trade. মানে এটা দিস ইজ আ ফাইন লাইন। হ্যাঁ, এটা অত ইজিলি কিন্তু আপনি বলতে পারবেন না, বাট আমাদের লজ আছে আপনার জন্য। হার্মফুল অ্যাক্টস হার্মফুল অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট প্রিভেন্ট করার জন্য ল আছে ডেফিনেটলি, কিন্তু ব্ল্যাঙ্কেট ব্যান করাটা মনে হয় সম্ভব হবে না। মানে আপনি যদি মনে করেন এই অ্যাডটা আমার ভালো লাগছে না দেখতে, এটা বড্ড টার্গেটেড অ্যাড, আমার মনে হয় এটা ডিফিকাল্ট ব্যান করা। আর আপনারা যদি কিছু অ্যাড করেন।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, to add to that, I think what you're talking about is cases যেখানে মানে আমাদের পার্সোনাল ইনফরমেশন পাবলিক ডোমেনে চলে যায়, তারপরে ওটা মাইন্ড করে যেরকম একটা ভার্চুয়াল ডিজিটাল প্রোফাইল বানানো হয় অ্যান্ড অ্যাকর্ডিংলি ওরকম অ্যাডস আসে। সো ফার আই থিঙ্ক অতটা স্ট্র্যাটেজিক ওয়ে অফ অ্যাড্রেসিং দিস ফ্রম লিগাল পার্সপেক্টিভ এখনও আই থিঙ্ক ইন্ডিয়াতে একটা লাকুনা আছে, অল ওভার দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ডই লাকুনা আছে, বিকজ the way advertising is growing based on AI and technology, ওটা এতটা মানে ডেভেলপ করছে that for মানে laws to pass and for that enforcement to happen, it's too fast to keep up with it. But it's a very valid point that you've raised, and maybe in future এরকম legislation আসবে, but currently I don't even think so. You can check out European Union and data privacy laws are very strong, so okhane maybe we can take some inspiration and we'll have laws like that. Kintu ekhon porjonto there is nothing like that ekhane, but it's a very valid point you've raised.
Thank you so much for your valuable time and preference.
Good afternoon to the honorable judges and one and all present here. I am Ashpriya Banerjee from Assembly of Gods School, Ukra. It is a privilege to be here today. I would like to ask a question on a specific case of Shayara Banu. Am I permitted to ask that?
Yes, that's a decided case.
Yeah. So, how did the code ensure that Sayara Banu's individual right to dignity and equality were protected despite the religious nature of the law involved?
Could you repeat the question again? I mean, exactly what is it that you want to know?
Yes, sir. How did the court ensure the Sayara Banu's individual right to dignity and equality?
No, the court ensured that by passing the judgment which you refer. The central issue in the judgment was a conflict between the law and the religious tenet, which was supposed to be in conflict with that particular law. So the court held that the law did not pass the test of substantive due process. So that is a concept which has become a part of our constitutional law, and going by that, the Supreme Court came to the conclusion that the law was valid in every respect, irrespective of the religious dictum to the contrary.
Thank you, sir, for your time and your guidance.
I must admit this is not a very satisfactory answer, because the case itself involves a lot of constitutional law aspects which are very difficult to summarize in within a short span of time. But this is a good question. I mean, but it is a good question, I would say.
Thank you, sir, for your time and your guidance.
Good afternoon, respected panel. Today, I, Priyadarshini Mukherjee from St. Jude's High School, would like to ask you a question. In what ways does Indian law support the rights and inhabilitation of disaster-affected areas, including compensation and access to relief services?
So we have a law called the Disaster Management Act, which in fact was triggered during COVID. And based on that, you also have state disaster management funds. So based on that, we have compensation schemes set up, and you have a lot of state-specific funds, guidelines, depending on the states. For example, I think, just as an example, certain states will be more prone to flooding, for instance, versus a landlocked state in India. So accordingly, there will be different unique state-level schemes. So there is provision under this National Disaster Management Act, and you can refer to that and look at West Bengal if you want to specifically see what the schemes are here.
And you must remember in this regard that victims of natural disaster are entitled to free legal aid. That is there in the law. It's a statutory right. So this is a very important adjunct to the answer given by ma'am. Please do keep it in mind that victims of natural disaster are entitled to free legal aid.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries. I am Chehal Agarwal from Burnpur Riverside School, Burnpur, and my question to the panel is, can a student file a complaint, and what should be done if the police refuses to file our complaint?
Yes, everybody can file a complaint. The student is no exception. He or she can also file a complaint. Police, it's a legal duty on the part of the police, mandated not only by law, but supported by a precedent of the Supreme Court, that police is duty bound to register a complaint. There are two options if you see that a police is not registering your complaint. One is you can lodge a complaint against that particular officer to his next higher official. That is number one. Second is, speaking legally, if you want to proceed with the matter, if you want to get the case initiated, you can then file an application before the magistrate. That there is a provision of law to that effect. You can ask the magistrate to direct the police to register a case.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
नमस्कार माननीय गणमान्य जन, मेरा नाम जवा कुमारी बर्णवाल है। मैं आर्य कन्या उच्च विद्यालय की छात्रा हूँ। आदरणीय, मेरा आपसे प्रश्न यह है कि यदि कोई किशोर या युवा अपने घर में घरेलू हिंसा का शिकार हो रहा है, तो इसके लिए भारतीय कानून में कौन-कौन से प्रावधान उपलब्ध है? कृपया
Domestic Violence Act.
There's a Domestic Violence Act. Also, you have criminal law. तो आप जैसे कि सर अभी बोले थे, you can go to the police and you can file an FIR, and they will then take the matter forward through investigation.
But then आपका सही remedy रहेगा Domestic Violence Act.
You can move also to the magistrates court for taking action under DVA Act, Domestic Violence Act.
Protection order would be the perfect remedy for you or for anyone who's abused at home in the domestic setup.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, honorable panel of judges. My name is Avantika Sharma and I am from Eastern Railway High School, Asansol. My question to you is, how Child Welfare Committee supports POCSO Act implementation? May I repeat? How Child Welfare Committee supports POCSO Act implementation?
The Child Welfare Committee is associated with the Juvenile Justice Act. So it doesn't implement that particular law, although it can deal with it. No?
No.
Okay.
No, the CWC declares a victim of POCSO, of any POCSO offense as CNCP, child in need of care and protection. Once that declaration is done and the child comes under the custody of the Child Welfare Committee, the committee appoints a support person. The support person helps the child, her family, in prosecuting the matter before the court.
Thank you for throwing a light.
And there's something I might add, sir.
Thing is that there is a special juvenile police unit also. That can also help the
and
child or in need of care.
And the support person also helps the child and her parents to seek victim compensation, because there is in the CRPC there was a specific section which provided for victim compensation in the Criminal Procedure Code. Pursuant to that section, a victim compensation scheme has been framed by this state in 2017. It provides for payment of compensation to victims of sexual abuse. So the support person helps the child and her family to seek that compensation from the DLSA. The DLSA processes the application, sends it to the SLSA, and we have a fund. From that fund, we disburse victim compensation to all matters or cases that are sent sent to us either by the DLSA or by the court.
Thank you for throwing your light and wisdom.
শুভ অপরাহ্ন, নমস্কার। আমি সঞ্চিতা মুখোপাধ্যায়, আসানসোল তুলসী রানী বালিকা শিক্ষা সদনের একজন ছাত্রী। শ্রদ্ধেয় স্যারদের কাছে আমার প্রশ্ন এই যে, আমাদের স্কুলের যে এমার্জেন্সি গেটটা রয়েছে তার মধ্যে মানে সেটাকে ঘিরে একদম পরপর মাংসের দোকান পুরো বসানো হয়েছে। যখন আমাদের বোনরা স্কুলে আসে, অনেকের ইমিউনিটি পাওয়ার অনেক কম হয়, তখন তারা সেগুলোকে দেখে, আর ভূগোলের ভাষায় আমরা যেটা বলি দৃশ্য দূষণ। তারপর তারা স্কুলে আসার পর ক্লাসের মধ্যে নানা রকম অস্বস্তি বোধ করে। এছাড়াও হচ্ছে আমরা ক্লাস চলাকালীন নানা রকম বাজে গন্ধ ক্লাসের মধ্যে ঢোকে। তো এইভাবে কি স্কুলের সামনে স্কুলের গেট জড়ো করে দোকান করা যায়?
না, এটা নুইসেন্স। এটা ক্রিমিনাল প্রসিজার কোডে নুইসেন্স আছে, সেকশন 133 আছে, 147 আছে, যতদূর মনে পড়ছে 133 তো ডেফিনেটলি আছে পাবলিক নুইসেন্স। এটা স্কুল অথরিটি কিন্তু এক্সিকিউটিভ ম্যাজিস্ট্রেট কোর্টে যদি মামলা করে, তাহলে এই যে দূষণের কথা আপনি বলছেন, দৃশ্য দূষণই বলুন বা এমনি দূষণ বলুন, এটা কিন্তু পরিত্রাণ পাওয়া সম্ভব।
ধন্যবাদ স্যার। আপনার
এটা স্কুল অথরিটিকে করতে হবে, ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল স্টুডেন্টও করতে পারে, কিন্তু সুবিধা হবে যদি স্কুল অথরিটি করে।
ধন্যবাদ স্যার আপনার মূল্যবান মতামতের জন্য।
A very good afternoon to the respected panel of judges and one and all present here. I'm Ananya Gupta, nurtured at Loreto Convent, Asansol. I believe every creation has its own fingerprint, and protecting it is what makes it meaningful. So this brings me to the doubt that with the generation of artificial intelligence, how can intellectual property rights, IPR, adapt to protect genuine human creativity?
So, see, I think you are focusing on the ChatGPT generated contents which are happening nowadays. That and how protected they are? Is that what you are focusing on?
Yes, Miss, my question is that how can IPR, the intellectual property right, adapt to protect genuine human creativity, the genuine artwork that we do as students or as adults? How can IPR adapt to protect that?
Okay, so IPR has several domains under its regime. Okay, we have copyright, patent, agriculture, semiconductor, etc. and etc. Trademark. So, in terms of literary creation, like you are mentioning, we have copyright that would protect someone's original creation. Now, what if an AI generated content is being used as someone else's creation? So, this person is saying, no, this is my creation, I want a protection. That won't happen nowadays with a lot of advancement in technology. For example, we have a software called Turnitin. Okay, this software, whenever we publish any, whenever we upload any academic article or something and we use AI in this particular content, this Turnitin software automatically points out that no, this one is not your creation. This percentage of AI has been used. That is how it helps in determining which is an original creation and which is not.
Just to add to that, you also mentioned artwork. So something that I think, no, I'm not sure whether she mentioned it, anything that you create, whether it's a literary work, artistic work, just by your act of creating it, you have copyright in it. It exists. You can then go and register it, but registration, no, there's no mandatory registration essentially. But coming back to the question of art, right? So I'm not entirely sure, this is just an educated guess also, but similar to how you have mechanisms like Turnitin, which can basically check for percentage of plagiarism, they also have something new, which is a percentage of AI content. There are markers to see if something is AI or not. So there must be something similar for people in design and for art. Like there must be a similar sort of a database or certain tells. But there are certain things, I'm sure, since you have grown up with AI in school, if you read something, you can tell this is AI. If you can tell it at this level, there I'm sure there are AI experts who are trained and are creating code in order to check something for being AI. It's a little more laborious and painstaking, but it is possible. And in any case, your work is protected by copyright.
Thank you, ma'am, for that insightful perspective.
Good afternoon, honorable dignitaries. I am Mitrani Majhi, representing St. Patrick's Higher Secondary School, Asansol. Our school has a very efficient and structured child protection policy for the past 11 years. And we do have also designated child protection officers. My question is about minor girls who might be silent victims of sexual assault outside the school premises. What are the legal aids that the authorities can provide to ensure our safety and justice?
To get justice, you have to lodge complaint. Otherwise, how can the law will take its own course? You have to file a complaint. And we think that we have already answered your questions.
So just, if I could just add to that, I mentioned mental health guidelines earlier. So as per that, if any school has 100 or more students, there's supposed to be a certified child psychologist or a counselor who's supposed to be there. So it's important to check in with such a person, or if your friends, if the institution or authorities for whatever reason are outside this person's reach, as you said, a silent victim, then community members, peers can perhaps help, and then this person could speak to a counselor, and then they could liaise with the authorities or whoever is a fit person here, and then after that action could be taken.
Thank you for enriching in response, respected panel.
Good afternoon, respected panel, dignitaries, and all my fellow students. I am Saujanya Hajra from Narayana School, Asansol. And sir and ma'am, as you have previously discussed, both schools and the government has taken appropriate repercussions and laws against bullying. But my question is, in a hypothetical situation that may take place, should the law allow a victim forgiveness to cancel legal punishment?
What exactly is the question? Will you please repeat it once?
Yes, sir. My question is, should the law allow a victim's forgiveness cancel the punishment?
Victims' forgiveness.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have compounding. Compounding. We have compounding, my lord. We have compounding. Minor offenses can be compounded, where the de facto complainant or the victim,
So
he
I
comes
think-
before the court and says, "Yeah, it's okay, I'm ready to settle the matter." It can be settled without punishment, and the accused gets an acquittal.
But for more serious cases, there are some non-compoundable offenses where, so are you asking this from a legal perspective or from a social perspective? Because
No, whatever perspective you think of, basically offenses are compoundable and non-compoundable. Minor trivial offenses can be compounded, some with the permission of the court, some even without the permission of the court. But serious offenses, as ma'am is saying, serious offenses cannot be compounded. That is against the policy of the state, that is against legal jurisprudential principles. That is not done, allowed nowadays.
Thank you so much for your insight.
A hearty good morning to one and all present over here. I, Ras Murmu of NIOS St. Vincent's, I would like to ask a question about, can a child file a report of domestic violence without a guardian? If yes, what measures should the child take? And if no, what's the reason?
Yes, she can file a report all by herself, and for assistance, even at the cost of repetition, but still I would say for assistance she can take the help of the legal aid institutions of the state. At the district, we have the District Legal Services Authority. Subdivisions, we have the Subdivisional Legal Services Committee. The child can get the help of a PLV. We have paralegal volunteers. A paralegal volunteer can be deputed who will help the child to draft the complaint and get it filed before the proper appropriate authority. That can always be done.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening my queries, and thank you for clearing my queries.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries. My name is Alnazra Fatima. I am a student of Guru Nanak Mission High School, Asansol. My question is that what legal measures are in place or needed to protect minors from online gaming frauds, and how can these be enforced when scams originate from anonymous and international sources?
Protect minors from online what?
My question is that what legal measures are in place or needed to protect minors from online gaming frauds, and how can this be enforced when scams originate from anonymous and international sources?
Yes, so listen, when it comes to online fraud, I don't think there is much of a difference between whether the user, I mean there is a difference when it comes to very heinous offenses, but in terms of fraud, whether whoever is the user will have the same legal legislations to approach to, irrespective of the gender or the age. For example, we have the Consumer Protection Act. If there's any scam or hacking of his or her account that has taken place, this person can use that particular measure. Or we have the IT Act, which is a very basic legislation to broach on to any kind of online related online activities where legal infringement can take place.
No,
Okay.
there is a kind of law which is prevalent in America. I don't know whether we have it here or not, where to enter a particular site, you first have to you need to give your age. So that can be a way to prevent minors from getting access to online gaming and sites like that. Maybe it's also prevalent here. I'm not too sure about that.
Thank you, sir.
A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Piyush Kumar Thakur from DAV High School, HS. My question is, what do you think, does social media enhances or weakens the freedom of expression?
This is a very open-ended and subjective question. Social media, like every other media or platform for expressing ideas, comes with advantages and disadvantages. If you make proper use of it, I think there is no harm. But again, you have to draw the line. You have to control. You have to, you saw the session on behavioral addiction. So you must have already got an idea about how to use social media to your best advantage.
Thank you for your concern. Thank you for your guidance.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries present here, including the honorable judges. Myself, Ayushi Sen from Shantinagar Vidya Mandir HS School. So my question to the panel is, what is the main legislation that protects the personal data protection in India?
We do have a Personal Data Protection Act which came up very recently. 2023 or 22? 23. So yes, it does protect personal data, and that not only means the fact that it should be protected, but also, you know, sometimes government authorities come up with policies where they might use that particular data for their own use, and as a result of that, this use might also lead to number of doors opening where from hacking or any kind of scam can be taking place. So firstly, we should be aware as owners of these data to protect this particular information by all means, because I think even before legal implication, if we act as responsible citizens, that would benefit us in the long run.
Thank you, ma'am, for your guidance.
A very good afternoon to all the esteemed dignitaries present here. A very good afternoon to all the esteemed dignitaries present here. I am Sumit Pati from Asansol Ramakrishna Mission High School. My question is, what measures are there to ensure that children are reformed rather than punished, that children in conflict with the law are reformed rather than punished?
The entire Juvenile Justice Act is based on the concept of reformation and rehabilitation. We have the act, that act speaks for itself. Punishment is something which is anathema when children are concerned. The JJ Act, the Juvenile Justice Act.
Thank you very much.
So we have moved away from punishment when a child is involved.
Thank you very much for your valuable response.
Good afternoon, respected panelists and all of you present here. Today, I, Zara Ansari of Class 11 Humanities, Eastern Railway Higher Secondary School, stand before you to ask a question. We all know that the Constitution comes up with laws, rules, and fundamental duties. And a responsible citizen adds a brick to the nation, while a careless one removes a stone. Yet in our daily life, sir, we often see rules being broken, like the traffic rule violation or even corruption. With that being said, sir, what would you suggest? How can we as citizens contribute to build a law-abiding society? Thank you.
Take your obligations seriously. You have rights, you also have corresponding obligations. Even you have fundamental duties as given in the Constitution. Go through them, take them seriously, and see if you can stick to them.
Sir, I would like to add one point. So I think reading the Constitution is very important. Like for me, I read the Constitution after I got into law school, but I think it should be done right from your age or before that in your schools. So please read the Constitution to understand your rights and duties in a better way.
And just to add to that, there are simplified versions of the Constitution available online. I think there's a children's guide to the Constitution, I can't exactly remember, but if you look for this, if you find the legal language and the terminology to be too daunting, there are more simplified versions available and you can peruse them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I'll surely carry your words forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries present here. My name is Pratiksha Mandal from A Church School, Asansol. And my question to the panel is, how can the legal system ensure laws against domestic abuse protect all women, especially in rural areas where awareness and education are limited?
We have covered domestic violence. Now, as per the part relating to awareness is concerned, we create awareness as well. The District Legal Services Authority working in the districts one of our chief functions is to create awareness. We make women aware of their rights and the remedies they have under the Domestic Violence Act. So awareness part, we are working on it and the law is there.
Thank you for your valuable guidance, sir.
Good afternoon, honorable legal dignitaries. I am Palak Gupta of class 11 from St. Vincent's High and Technical School, and I would be grateful if you could please provide clarity on the issue related to the protection of stray animals. As I'm sure all of us are aware of the ABC, that is the Animal Birth Control Act of 2001, which has promised 70% sterilization of all stray dogs. Yet, even after almost 2.5 decades, we have failed to achieve this threshold. So why has the Supreme Court passed another law on this matter rather than ensuring the effective enforcement of the ABC Act itself?
See, it's very difficult to speculate as to why the Supreme Court has, to quote you, passed another law on the matter without enforcing the 2001 Act, which you say, because what counted with the Supreme Court we don't exactly know. But then yes, it's no harm in admitting that maybe the government has failed to implement the Act for reasons which we do not know or we cannot speculate at this stage. And you know, that may be the reason why the Supreme Court had to step in, because the Supreme Court legislates interstitially only in the event of government machinery failing to act. So this was an instance where the Supreme Court had to act because the government did not.
There are also some 2023 rules I just checked right now you can look at. So they obviously reflect the current situation and the changes that have, obviously it's been more than 20 years since the act was passed. So the rules should reflect the change and you can look into them.
Thank you so much for shedding light on this matter and addressing my question.
I hope the students from all the schools got a fair chance to put forward their questions. Is there any school which did not get the opportunity to ask a question? I hope we have covered all the schools. With deepest regret, I'm afraid to say that we cannot accommodate any more questions and we cannot move to the second round of question and answers due to time constraints. I take this opportunity to thank you, dear students, for asking such relevant questions, and our sincere thanks to our dignitaries for so patiently and thoughtfully answering each and every question. This question and answer session has made today's seminar even more meaningful for each one of us. Let us give them a heartfelt round of applause. We humbly request our distinguished luminaries to remain seated as we begin the felicitation ceremony. We request the other dignitaries to please join them on the stage.
Now comes a moment of honor and gratitude. It is time to extend a heartfelt appreciation to our esteemed chief guest, whose gracious presence has added such dignity to this occasion. May we take the privilege of inviting our respected principal sir, Mr. Ravi Victor, to kindly come up on the stage and felicitate our chief guest, the Honorable Mr. Justice Somen Sen, Judge, High Court, Kolkata, and Executive Chairman, State Legal Services Authority, West Bengal, with a token of respect and admiration on behalf of the entire school community and our esteemed alumni. Thank you, sir. We also humbly request Principal Sir to kindly felicitate our very own, the Honorable Mr. Justice Debanshu Basak, Judge, High Court, Kolkata, with a token of gratitude and respect. Thank you, Principal Sir, for doing us the honor. May we humbly request Mr. Nigel D'Souza, Principal of St. Patrick's Higher Secondary School, to extend a gesture of respect and appreciation to the Honorable Mr. Justice Apurba Sinha Ray, Judge, Calcutta High Court. Thank you so much, sir, for graciously felicitating our esteemed guests.
May we now have the privilege of calling upon our alumni members, Mr. Sushil Sharma and Mr. Sarfaraz Shameen, to felicitate Shri S. Arnab Ghoshal, Learned Member Secretary, State Legal Services Authority, West Bengal. We request Mr. Paras Rai and Mr. Dinesh Poddar to do the honors of felicitating Mr. Dibyendu Nath, Deputy Secretary, State Legal Services Authority, West Bengal. We request Mr. Jayaprata Sen Sharma and Mr. Deepen Mustafi to extend a gesture of appreciation to Srimati Poonam Singhi, Deputy Secretary, State Legal Services Authority, West Bengal. Let's hear it loud for them. We humbly request Mr. Mandeep Singh and Mr. Anu Chaturvedi to honor Dr. Raj Lakshmi Guha, Assistant Professor, IIT Kharagpur. We move to the next one. May we now invite Mr. Satvik Lal and Mr. Biswajit Bose to do the honors of felicitating Madam Ayushi Basu, Research Fellow, National University of Judicial Science, Kolkata. Let's hear it loud for them. We request Mr. Sachin Balodia, Mr. Nikhilesh Upadhyay, and Mr. Abhishek Dukania to extend a gesture of appreciation to Madam Devanjali Banerjee, Research Fellow, National University of Judicial Science, Kolkata.
May we now request Mr. Mandeep Singh Lali, and Mr. Anuj Chaturvedi to felicitate Ma'am Amrapali Chakravarti, DSLA Secretary. Can we hear it for them? Thank you.
We request Sir Dibyendu Nath to please accept the token of appreciation on behalf of Dr. Rajlakshmi Guha. Please give them a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Asansol Alumni Association, we take this opportunity to honor Victor. Sir, kindly accept this token of appreciation as a mark of our gratitude. I request Mr. Bijan Maji to do the honors. Can we have a big round of applause?
Certainly wasn't a failure.
No, I'm sorry, not like that. No, but your support in getting everyone on board is invaluable. Okay, you're the binding force, and we are really indebted to you. So thank you. Can we have a big round of applause for Honorable Justice Dipanshu? To the Honorable Mr. Justice Apurva Sinha Roy, thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs and contribution. I believe you wanted to come and see the school also. I hoped you liked the school and meeting all the children who are here. Thank you so much for coming to Asansol. Can we have a big round of applause for sir? To Shri S. Arnab Ghoshal, who took most of the questions today. So thank you, sir, for taking out that time. I know you're also an alumnus of a very reputed school, and you shared a lot of things with me. We had a wonderful chat, and the way you shared one, I think it was enlightening. Can we have a big round of applause for sir? Shri S. Arnab Ghoshal, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Shri Dibyendu Nath, sir. Can we have a big round of applause for sir? Thank you so much. For Srimati Poonam Singhi ma'am, she has been with us on the phone, I do not know how many times, trying to get this entire thing going. Thank you so much. And I think today she would have a good sleep and will be satisfied with what we've been through. So thank you. Can we have a big round of applause for Poonam Singhi ma'am? Thank you so much. For Dr. Rajlakshmi Guha, who did a session on addiction, she's not present here. Please kindly extend our gratitude to her for the valuable session that she did. A big round of applause to her. For Ayushi Basu ma'am and Devanjali Banerjee ma'am, thank you so much. You're like twin sisters, okay, who took up all the things with the children and everything. Can we have a very big round of applause for taking us through to the system? To Amrapali ma'am from the DLSA, thank you so much. We've had a little interaction, but whatever we had, I think we were able to bring to fruition, and DLSA also played a very, very important role. Can we have a big round of applause for her? So to the West Bengal State Legal Service Authority and DLSA, thank you so much. We have around, not 35, actually there's one more school that came in, 36, around 40 schools. And it was Piyush sir and Megha ma'am when we tried visiting all the schools and inviting. I think we were hopeful that you people will come and the support that we'll get from the principals of all the schools. Please, when you go back to your students, give a very big thank you to your principals and your teachers who brought you here for this wonderful day. As you said it, I hope you had a very meaningful day today. Okay? Yes or no? Once more, yeah, good. It's good to hear that. Okay. So please extend a heartfelt thanks from our side. Thank you so much. Let me hear it for your principals. Yeah. For all the students, the lifeline of the school system. I know we could have had many more questions going, many more questions. I know some of you sitting out there may be a little sad that your questions are not met. And that I think is an excuse for us to have a second round, maybe sometime next year or something like that. Yeah, they're smiling now, they'll get the chance, okay? So, but nonetheless, I think you're brilliant. All those who participated may have taken a lot from here. A very big thank you to each one of you. Thank you. The school itself is very thankful to the alumni members. Taking the name of each and every one will be a little bit, like there's so many things that they've done. Getting entire thing going behind the scene is not a joke. Today we might say, it's a wonderful day, things have fallen in place. How has it fallen in place? So many people working behind, especially the alumni, to get this thing going. So can we hear it for the alumni, please? Thank you so much, we did it. Thank you so much. For the teachers of St. Vincent's, thank you dear teachers. I know you were present right throughout. You did your duties, whatever be it, and you must have enjoyed the session also. And without your help, these things do not go through. So thank you dear teachers of St. Vincent's. Can we have a big round of applause for them? And at this moment, I'd like to thank Megha Dukania ma'am, Richard Das sir, Iti ma'am, Christopher sir, Pius sir, Sylvia ma'am, Arun sir, and Evelyn ma'am. Can we have a very big round of applause? The amount, of course, with Megha ma'am and Richard Das, scripting, re-scripting, trying to put everything together and making sure that it went off all in time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To the students, volunteers who are there, you play a very important role. Without you, things don't fall in place. So to all the student volunteers who are there to help out in today's program, thank you so much. Thank you. Can you have a big round of applause for them? And to all the students who took part in this wonderful singing, dancing, and the Nukkar Natak that we had. Very well done. The tech team, you're brilliant as usual, innovative. You could get things going at the moment. That's really nice, and the YouTube was live. We had that also on YouTube, so thank you. So God bless each one of you. You're doing wonderful. Thank you so much. A very big round of applause to you too. To all the support staff headed by Tushar sir, Raja Mike, people who are in the catering, and everyone involved, thank you so much. Thank you, and God bless each one of you. Of course, without the help of our own leaders, who are the brothers, things do not, it's not complete. So on behalf of myself and the teachers and everyone present here, I would like to thank the Christian brothers, Brother Leonard Lobo, Brother Sabino, Brother Joel, Brother Gabriel Thomas who are present, and Brother Rashal. Can we have a very big round of applause for them? Their support is very crucial in getting things done, like the way, there are many times we fall short how to go about it, and they are present there to guide us, and we are very fortunate to have them. So thank you so much. I hope you've had a wonderful day, okay? And if I've missed out anybody, remember, you're all close to the heart and you're all blessed. So God bless. Thank you. Thanks to each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Principal Sir. Your words beautifully summed up the spirit of this event. Your constant guidance, encouragement, and support are the backbone of every initiative we undertake in our school. Thank you, sir.
এই সমাবেশ থেকে প্রাপ্ত শিক্ষা আমাদের ন্যায়নিষ্ঠা, সচেতন ও দায়িত্বশীল সমাজ গড়তে সাহায্য করুক। আজকের আলোচনা আমাদের আইন মেনে চলতে ও সচেতনতা ছড়িয়ে দিতে অনুপ্রাণিত করুক। আসুন আমরা সবাই মিলে এমন এক ভবিষ্যৎ গড়ে তুলি যেখানে ন্যায় শুধু অধিকার নয়, সবার জীবনের অংশ হয়ে উঠবে।
आज के सेमिनार में विचारों और ज्ञान का आदान प्रदान हुआ। इसी के साथ हम इस आयोजन का समापन करते हैं। आशा है कि यहाँ मिली सीख हमें न्याय के प्रति सजग बनाएगी और समाज में विधिक जागरूकता फैलाने की प्रेरणा देगी।
With the enriching exchange of ideas and the valuable insights shared today, we now bring this mega event to a meaningful close. Let the knowledge shared in this seminar strengthen our resolve to champion justice and spread legal awareness in society. May the insights from this gathering continue to guide us in building a just, aware, and responsible society. Thank you.
With due respect, may I request you all to kindly rise for the national anthem.
Hello.
गणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you for joining us and enriching this gathering with your presence. Have a nice evening. I request all the students and teachers to remain seated. We humbly request our dignitaries to kindly proceed.
Thank you, dear students and teachers. Now you may leave the hall. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.